Walk into any pharmaceutical manufacturing plant, and you'll find compressed air driving the operation. It runs the pneumatic instrumentation, dries fluid beds, coats tablets, and constantly makes direct contact with sensitive products and sterile packaging. But those utility lines can carry hazards you can't see with the naked eye. An unmonitored compressor system forces trace oil aerosols, excessive moisture, microscopic dust, and even living microbes straight into critical zones. That is why we rely on compressed air validation. This is the documented process used to verify that a facility's air supply rigorously meets ISO 8573-1 quality standards. Relying on the assumption that air from a compressor is clean enough without proving it physically compromises the sterility of drug products, violates global GMP requirements, and puts patient safety directly at risk. This chart outlines the specific parameters tested to ensure air quality. To comply with ISO 8573-1, we measure 4 main variables: particulates, oil content, moisture, and microbial contamination. Physical and chemical contaminants have strict quantitative limits. Particulate matter must be filtered to Class 2 or better, meaning less than 400 particles per cubic meter at 0.5 microns. Similarly, total oil content must not exceed 0.1 milligrams per cubic meter to prevent oily residue from coating the equipment. Next is moisture control. The system must maintain a pressure dew point of -40 degrees Celsius or lower. Suppressing humidity to this extreme prevents internal pipe corrosion and starves bacteria of the water they need to multiply. For those biological threats, critical zones operate under an absolute zero-tolerance policy. When assessing microbial contamination, testers look for exactly zero growth in a 25 cubic meter air sample. These specific thresholds serve as exact physical boundaries. Breaching even a single limit on this chart instantly invalidates the sterile status of the manufacturing environment. Here, we see the typical layout of a compressed air system alongside the validation stages. Before you extract a single physical sample, you have to map the process exactly. The first stage is system mapping, where you identify every point-of-use line across production and the lab. This feeds directly into Stage 2, the sampling plan, which dictates the precise locations and frequencies required for accurate testing. Only then do you move to Stage 3, active testing. Technicians pull physical samples to measure the ISO parameters. Stage 4 is data review, where those real-world sample results are compared directly against the regulatory limits. Finally, the process ends with reporting and approval to document the findings. To maintain compliance over time, facilities must perform periodic revalidation, typically scheduled every 6 to 12 months or immediately following major system maintenance. Executing this strict chronological sequence ensures that a handful of isolated air tests become a legally defensible, ongoing record of facility control. This banner displays the specific diagnostic equipment used during the active testing phase. Each contaminant requires a dedicated, specialized instrument to accurately measure it. We separate the threats into non-viable and viable categories. A highly calibrated particle counter is deployed to measure physical dust and solid particulates, while a specialized microbial air sampler captures living bacteria and fungi for laboratory incubation. To capture chemical residue, technicians use an oil vapor analyzer, and to confirm that -40-degree threshold for moisture, they rely on a digital dew point meter. Deploying the correct, uniquely calibrated device for each isolated variable proves to regulators that your measurements are accurate. This hardware precision is how you satisfy a rigorous GMP audit. When you control particulates, eliminate oil, suppress moisture, and eradicate microbes, you satisfy the overarching requirements of good manufacturing practices. Validated, clean, dry air acts as a foundational layer of product integrity for the entire pharmaceutical operation. An invisible utility flowing through pipes still dictates the safety of a drug dose. Securing that safety requires highly visible, mathematically precise documentation at every step. For more cinematic breakdowns of GMP and validation processes, subscribe to the Pharma Training channel.